So naturally, we talk about the retirement. And over the next 10 years, about 300 million who are currently aged 50 to 60 now will leave China's workforce. China has also planned to raise the retirement age in a prudent and orderly manner. So, do you think raising the retirement age is a solution to China's aging population?
Well, in China, we are experiencing two major phenomena. One is the fast aging population.
Yeah.
And in major cities like Shanghai, for example, people above 60 years old is already accounting for about a quarter of the local population. The second phenomenon is the demographic decline, meaning the Chinese population growth is in the negative, and every year the total population is decreased by a certain amount. And I think we need to really pay attention to these two very extraordinary situations, because demographic changes are very long term. Whatever we do or don't do today may have impact which will not be felt until, for example, 25 years later or 50 years later or even longer. So it's very long term. So we need to do very thorough scientific studies and forecast as to see what exactly today's demographic changes, which may seem to be incremental, will cause, and what will be the consequences, for example. In this regard, the Chinese retirement age, in my best judgment, does need to be further extended, because right now, unless you are very senior government officials or members of the Academy of Science or Engineering, for example, you normally would need to retire at 60 years old for men and 55 for women. Now,
Yes.
if you are engaged in blue-collar job in many factories in China, for ladies, they actually retire as early as 50 years old. Now, this has historical reasons and also particular reasons as far as China is concerned. I think, first of all, for the ladies, their retirement age could be extended to 60 to start with. Now, for men, their retirement age can be extended from 60, in many cases, to, let's say, 63 or 65. Now, such extension are actually in line with international practices, because if you go to many developed countries, normally the retirement age will be as late as 63, 65, or, for example, in Japan, there is no mandatory retirement age for many jobs. If you feel comfortable and feel fit, you can keep working. So we can see elderly people in their 70s, in their 80s, or even in their 90s still keep working, because working is no longer what they are required to do. Working is just for them a pleasure or a pursuit. They feel happier if they have something to do, rather than living as a pensioner or in retirement, for example, or become a burden for society, rather than continuing to contribute to the overall economic development of the country. Now, I think to increase the retirement age for women in China to 60 is a must, and I hope it will happen as soon as possible. For men, I hope they can keep working until they reach 63, if not 65, and eventually for the longer term, the extension could also be to 70 years old, as the case in many other countries.
Yes, China has one of the lowest retirement ages in the world.
Well, for different people, if you ask them question as to what is the best time they believe they could retire, it really differs from one person to another.
Yeah.
And family background is also very much of an important thing. Some people actually prefer to retire early, and they can enjoy their pension, and they can enjoy the freedom of traveling, seeing the rest of the world or rest of China, for example. Many people in China want to work. They want to work many years beyond their mandatory retirement age, that means the retirement age itself could be extended. And for example, for women beyond 50 years old or 55 years old or 60 years old, I think it could be a choice for them. They can pick and choose. They can choose to retire if they reach the mandatory retirement age, which could be extended, as I mentioned, or they can choose to continue to work. So I think this kind of choice for people, especially for women in China.